Hey everybody and welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty crucial in today's world.
Definitely crucial.
Cybersecurity.
Couldn't agree more.
Yes, we hear about it all the time, right? Like
All the time.
passwords and firewalls and all that.
Right.
But we wanted to take a deeper look into risk assessment
Okay. Yeah?
because, everyone says cybersecurity is important, but like, where do you even start?
Yeah. You got to break it
I
down.
got to break it down.
Absolutely. And one way to do that
Okay.
is to try to think about putting like a dollar value on cyber risks.
Really?
Yeah.
Put a dollar value on
Yeah.
it.
And I know that sounds kind of strange at first,
That
but
does sound kind of strange.
it's really helpful to kind of wrap your head around it.
Okay.
And there's a name for this concept.
Okay.
It's called Annualized Loss Expectancy, or ALE.
ALE.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to admit that sounds a little bit like financial jargon.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It's a mouthful. It is a mouthful.
Yeah.
But if it can help me figure out like where to focus my security budget,
Right.
I am all ears.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it does.
Right.
It helps us prioritize.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to like secure a fortress,
Okay.
but you only have a limited number of guards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You wouldn't put like one guard on every single wall, right?
Oh, that would be silly.
That would be spreading them way too thin.
Right.
You'd want to focus on the areas that are the most likely to be attacked.
Right. The weak points.
Exactly.
Okay.
And ALE is kind of like that for cyber threats.
So it's kind of telling you where to put your guards.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I like that. I'm intrigued.
I'm glad.
So break it down for me.
Okay.
How do we actually like calculate this ALE?
So it involves a couple of key things.
Yep.
The first one is something called the single loss expectancy,
Single loss expectancy.
or SLE.
SLE.
Yeah.
Okay.
So think about it like this.
Okay.
If you are an online retailer, right, your SLE for something like a data breach,
Okay.
it would include all sorts of costs.
Right.
Like you might have regulatory fines.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to pay legal fees.
Okay.
And there's also the cost of like lost customer trust,
Oh.
which can be hard to measure, but it's definitely real.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's say you were like a photographer.
Okay, completely agree.
Totally different situation.
Okay.
Then your SLE might be based on like
Okay.
how much it would cost to replace stolen equipment if someone broke in and stole your cameras or something.
Your hard drives.
Yeah, exactly. And you might also lose income from canceled shoots.
Right, you can't do your work.
Right, exactly.
So it's all about like the context of your business.
Absolutely.
It's all specific to you.
So SLE is basically figuring out the worst case scenario
It really is.
for a single security incident.
Yes,
Okay,
that's a good way to put it.
I think I got that part.
All right, good.
So what's the second piece? So the second piece is called the annualized rate of occurrence,
Annualized rate of occurrence.
which we shorten to ARO.
ARO. Okay.
Yeah.
Another acronym.
I know, sorry.
No, it's helpful.
Yeah, it is.
But what does that mean?
So this is all about trying to estimate like how many times that specific threat
Okay.
could realistically happen in a year.
Oh, so like how often it might happen.
Exactly.
Sure.
So for example, for like an online retailer, a data breach
Okay.
might have like a higher ARO
Okay.
than, say, a really sophisticated malware attack.
Okay.
That's targeting like a specific individual.
Okay, so a data breach is more likely than a super targeted attack.
Potentially,
Yeah. Okay.
especially depending on their security measures.
Makes sense.
So it's all about likelihood.
Got it.
Okay.
So SLE tells us the severity.
Yes.
And ARO is all about the frequency.
Exactly.
How often it's going to happen.
You got it.
But how do those two pieces come
Yeah.
together to give us the ALE?
Right. So the formula is actually pretty simple.
Okay.
ALE equals SLE multiplied by ARO.
Okay. SLE times ARO.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example,
Like example.
let's say there's a company,
Right.
and they estimate that a data breach would cost them $50,000.
Okay.
That's their SLE.
50,000.
$50,000, yeah.
All right.
And they also think that those types of breaches
Okay.
could happen like twice a year. Twice a year. So their ARO is 2.
ARO is 2.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said we multiply those together.
Right.
So 50,000 times 2
That's right.
is 100,000.
Exactly.
So their ALE would be $100,000.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a big number.
It is.
Yeah, that really puts it into perspective.
Yeah, it makes it real.
Yeah, but how do companies actually use that number
Right.
to make decisions?
That's the key question.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about spending a ton of money.
Right.
It's about using the information wisely.
So it's not just like, oh no, $100,000?
It's not a panic button.
Right.
It's more like a roadmap.
Okay, a roadmap. Okay.
Exactly. So let's say you're like a small business owner
Right.
and you've got a limited budget.
Yeah, everyone's got a limited budget.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So you've gone through and you've calculated the ALE
Yeah, okay.
for all these different types of threats.
Uh-huh.
And you realize that, like,
Oh, yeah.
the risk of a social engineering attack.
Oh, like phishing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like phishing is
Okay.
way higher
Okay.
than the risk of some super sophisticated malware attack.
Okay.
So what do you do with that information?
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, you might decide to focus on
Okay.
training your employees
Right.
about phishing and social engineering
Yeah.
instead of spending a ton of money on
Right.
super expensive anti-malware software.
So you're kind of focusing on the human element.
You are, in this case, yeah.
Okay.
Because you've identified that as
The bigger risk.
the bigger risk.
Okay. So it's all about like being strategic,
Exactly.
not just about throwing money at the problem.
Right. It's about understanding where the real risks are
Okay.
and then deciding how to deal with them.
Okay. So sometimes
Yeah.
it might not be about like
Right.
eliminating the risk completely.
Yeah, sometimes that's just not possible.
Right. It might be too expensive.
It could be, or it could just not be practical.
Okay.
So there are other options. Like
Sure.
sometimes you might just accept a certain level of risk.
It's low enough.
Yeah, if the cost of like mitigating it
Okay.
is way higher than the potential loss,
Right.
it might not be worth it to go all out.
Okay.
And then other times,
Mm-hmm.
you might decide to transfer the risk.
Transfer the risk.
Yeah, like by getting cyber insurance.
Oh, right. So you're passing it off.
You are essentially.
Yeah.
You're paying someone else to take on that risk.
Okay. That makes sense.
So it's all about making informed choices.
Informed choices.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good.
Yeah. It's not just about, I'm glad, eliminating all risk.
Yeah.
It's about managing it in a way
That's the key.
that works for your business.
Exactly.
Really cool stuff.
It is interesting stuff.
This has been an awesome deep dive.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Now I'm kind of curious.
Oh, yeah.
What potential security threats might your business face?
Good question.
Or even just like your personal digital life,
That's a good point.
you know?
Everyone's got something to think about.
Everyone does, yeah.
Yeah.
What would the SLE and ARO be?
Right. Could you calculate your own ALE?
Yeah, could you calculate your own ALE?
That's the challenge
Yeah.
for everyone listening.
Food for thought, everyone.
Yeah, food for thought.
As you navigate this crazy world
Yeah. It's a wild world out there.
of cybersecurity,
Yes, sir.
stay safe. Stay safe out there.
All right, thanks for having me.
This was awesome. Thank you.